Okay, we're going to do more reading. Today we're going to do a page from this, Farming and Homesteading. We're actually going to do 2 pages from an installation guide of a sink I need to install. And again, we're going to do 2 pages of... 2 pages of Safe Skipper. Here we go, anyways. Random page, homestead book. Oh my gosh, it's a big page. Gonna be here for a while. Naturally, the deeper, lighter, richer inorganic matter a soil is, the more readily it can absorb water and the more deeply it can infiltrate that water. All aspects of biological health and productivity are increased as soil depth and health increases, and the effects of water systems on resiliency are no different. By building deep, high organic matter soils, water flow across the surface of the land. What we're trying to avoid is greatly reduced. Okay, an agriculture as diverse as the landscape. Only about 10% of the state in which I live, Vermont, is composed of agricultural land, while the vast majority of the state is too wet, dry, steep, shallow soiled, or infertile to reliably support conventional field-based crop production, though it's been tried before. Vermonters once farmed much of the state's non-ag land, clearing about 3/4 of the state by the mid-1800s, mostly for pasture. Devastating soil erosion resulted, along with rapidly decreasing yields. As we enter the 21st century, land that is still clear of forest represents Vermont's most forgiving landscape, generally low-angle slopes with deep, well-drained soils supporting, usually with constant inputs, pasture and annual row crops such as corn and grass for hay. Currently, nearly all of Vermont's food production is derived from 1/10 of its land base, and this land's capacity shrinks in both area and output each year. Prime soil lands, having been abused for nearly 2 centuries, continue to lose significant production capacity each year as mechanized, tillage-based farming compacts soil structure, exposes the soil to erosion, and damages soil health through continual inputs of liquid fertilizer. The actual acreage of prime soil land is also shrinking under the influence of suburban sprawl and transportation developments. As the need to establish a more resilient, sustainable, local, and secure resource base becomes increasingly clear, we are confronted with the need to produce a reliable supply of food and fuel from the vast majority of our landscape that we have not yet managed to utilize productively without incurring significant damage. In a future of diminishing resources and increasing stressors such as climate change, socio-political instability, and economic insolvency, we will need to generate value sustainably on the majority of our landscape without depending upon 1 unit of production sustaining 9 units of consumption. How do we produce lasting value on challenging landscapes with poorly drained, droughty, or degraded infertile soil? Fortunately, this has already been done to a large extent in other parts of the world. Both degraded and inherently challenging landscapes can be regenerated and maintained as highly productive, low-input, no-till, perennial agricultural systems offering yields of fruit, nuts, fiber, fuel, meat, milk, and even perennial grains and vegetables. In America, however, we have a few examples of such systems and need to look elsewhere to find truly sustainable cold climate agricultural systems. Permaculture, with its emphasis on low input, self-fertilizing, diverse crop arrangements, otherwise known as guilds, and no-till approach is particularly suited to producing food and fuel crops on degraded and sensitive landscapes, which is most of America, that reliably fail under large-scale, mechanized, input-dependent, soil-exposing tillage agriculture. Land design needs to continually adapt to America's hill lands, cold climate, and abused soils. Successful versions of agricultural for the hills from elsewhere, such as the oak, walnut, and chestnut pasture agroforestry systems of the Mediterranean, are not likely to succeed here by simply attempting to replicate them. There we go, 1 page. Now we're doing 2 pages of this sink installation guide. Random flip, okay. Another random flip. Here we go. Oh, it's in French. All right. Installing the lift rod. Slide the lift rod down into the lift rod strap through the faucet until it clicks into the lift rod strap. Attaching the horizontal rod and strap. Press the horizontal rod down to ensure the stopper is in the maximum open position. Slide the clip upward, adjust the location of the lift rod strap to the appropriate height, and insert the horizontal rod with the correct hole of the lift rod strap. Move the lift rod strap in or out to choose an appropriate location. Slide the clip downward until it secures with the horizontal rod. Adjusting the length of the lid rod strap. Optional. If the pop-up lift rod strap is interfering with your installation, the lift rod strap can be cut shorter. Once you have identified the proper hole in the lift rod strap that is necessary for your installation, you may cut off the bottom portion of the lift rod strap by snapping it off with pliers or cutting it off with a saw at the cutting point. Ensure the clip does not slide off the lift rod strap. Checking the operation of the pop-up. Operate the lift rod up and down to verify that the stopper opens and closes. Now I'm going to take a quick look at the pictures. Okay. And now I'm going to let you guys take a quick look at the pictures. To me, right now in my life, this is a tedious task. So reading it together makes it not as bad. Eventually, that sink will get installed. It's a sink faucet. Okay, on to Safe Skipper. Whoop, whoop. Practical guide to managing risk at sea. Random page. Here we go. Flip. Oh my gosh. I almost flipped to the same page as last time. Okay, more radio stuff. SSB radio. Marine SSB single-side band radio enables worldwide communication and is widely used by blue water cruising yachts. The range of high-frequency SSB is several thousand miles, and it is the cheapest form of long-range communications at sea. Medium frequency works up to 150 nautical miles from the coast. SSB radios are more complex to operate than VHF radios, with many more frequencies and channels. Modern transceivers usually have pre-programmed channels. The power needed for a SSB radio is more than is required for a VHF, typically using 25 amps when transmitting. The radio antenna needs to be substantial and is often attached to the backstay as an insulated section. In some cases, a tall whip antenna is installed. In order to get good radio reception, a bronze ground plate needs to be attached to the outside of the plastic hulls. This is not necessary on steel hulls. Also needed is an antenna coupler or an automatic antenna tuner, which helps tune the radio and antenna together to the selected frequency, saving constant manual adjustment. SSB radio operates on short-wave medium frequency and high frequency, 2 MHz to 26 MHz. It enables voice communication with other vessels and coastal radio stations while on long offshore passages. It enables access to ocean weather data, including GRIB files, weather facts, and NavTex. It enables email transmission. This requires having a contract with a commercial service such as Global Marine Net or to subscribe to user-owned service SailMail. Uses digital selective calling, and calls are free. Radio licenses and training. In the UK, SSB radio usage requires 2 licenses, a ship radio license and a long-range certificate. Courses and certificates are administered by AMERC. Note, for countries outside the UK, we advise you check the legal requirements for licenses and training locally. Tip: installation of an SSB radio is not straightforward and can result in poor performance if not fitted by an SSB specialist. Okay, that wasn't too painful. We got, boom, another 10 minutes of reading done. Now, until next time, have a good day.